Alright, so we have our simulation here and it's looking pretty good. We got a lot of more interesting things going on. And you can see it's kicking out to the side a bit better, and we got these bits of debris that are shooting up and the secondary explosion in the back there. So this is definitely getting there. So what we're going to do now is just tweak the main fluid a little bit. And we can see how everything's working here. The emission off the chopper is looking pretty great. We got a lot of billowing fire going on. And that secondary explosion is making everything a lot more interesting. And we got the nice different colors in there. So the main thing I'm going to do here is adjust the time scale to give it kind of that pop, that speed at the beginning. And so I'm going to speed it up from a time scale of 1.5. And just like before, we're going to have it on for about 5 frames or so. 85, and then let's key it off in about 5 frames. We'll key it off to about 0.5, which would be a third of the time. So it's not going to go this high because it's not going to evaluate that much further. So it's going to go about a lot faster than this and go out more, and then by frame 90 it's going to slow right down, and that's going to give us a lot more of a boost, a kind of impact feeling to it, and then it'll slowly roll over. So that'll be the biggest change that we're going to do. And let's just change this keyframe here to 0.5. And while we're taking a look at our tank here, we can probably adjust the size a little bit. And we could probably take it in, take it into about 60, and we definitely don't need this much height either, but I'll leave the length. So there we go. And also let's drop the final spacing to 0.1. And this will give us 30 gigabytes of RAM, which we're obviously not going to use all of that, maybe about half. And moving along here, we've adjusted the time scale. Let's just go back here. I'm going to just call this Explosion 2 now. And let's make a small adjustment to the turbulence. Let's drop this down a little bit. Lower the amount of turbulence and the scale to about 2. So hopefully we'll get a lot more little finer details. And since we're lowering the time scale, it's not going to go as high, and it was burning off quite fast because the time scale is at 1.5 the whole time. So I'm going to lower the burn rate just a tad, and this will just help it rise a little bit higher before the whole thing burns off. And everything else we'll leave pretty much the same as we had it. And one thing we can use, which is really great to get a little bit of extra detail, is the sharpening parameters. Now we're not going to use it in the smoke, but in the temperature itself, everywhere there's flames in that, if we use a bit of sharpening, you get a lot more looking detail around these flamey areas, and that'll help out a little bit as well. So there we go. Everything else and the speed of our particles and that are pretty great. So this is all the things that we're going to change here. So let's go ahead and take a high-res sim of this. Alright, so we have our final simulation here. And this took about 9 hours to simulate. And it's looking great. We've got all sorts of cool stuff going on. Super happy with the way that second explosion is working out. And the timing of it is offset a little bit. And we get that really good pop in the beginning that really busts out with a lot of force. And as the time scale slows down, we really get a sense of scale and how it's slowly rising up. And also the extra detail with the debris in there looks pretty great. And as well, we can see how it's still burning the chopper at the end there. So that's it for our final simulation. In the next clip, we're going to set up just some quick spark effects, and that'll further add to what's going on in the shot. So we'll see you in the next clip.